Nicole and I'm 23 years old. After I graduated high school, I decided to defer from college, and I spent almost 8 months in Guatemala doing volunteer work in Zone 3, which is considered the most dangerous area in the entire country. It's Guatemala City, and the organization was called Safe Passage Camino Seguro. I didn't choose the country, I chose the project. I fell in love with the project before I fell in love with Guatemala. The volunteer work was educational based, so the whole purpose of the organization was to break the cycle of poverty that occurred in Guatemala after a 36-year-old civil war. The war caused massive migration into the urban areas, and because of overpopulation in Guatemala City, many people ended up moving and creating these slums around the Guatemala City garbage dump. I'd always been a big reader, and by reading so much, I was always fascinated with travel because I feel like those two go hand in hand. Book, there's the ability to transport yourself, so I'd always wanted to just do something more than just what I was doing. I realized that I didn't want to go to college when I realized that there was more that I was supposed to be doing than just going to school. I just started searching for something else. The most significant moment in my time there was when I realized I'm incredibly interested in public health. I was having lunch with this girl who decided that she didn't want to go home after school. She was telling me about her family, and every single member of her family worked in the garbage dump. And she was telling me about her uncle who lost his hands because of complications with the noxious gases that are in the dump. But even though he had no hands, he was still working in the dump, and every single day getting up at the crack of dawn and working the entire day just to find something to recycle or food to eat and to make it one more day. Because I was there for such a long period of time, I was able to experience what everyday life is like. The most exciting point of all the holidays was during Semana Santa, which is the Holy Week before Easter, and the entire town comes together to make these carpets that cover the cobblestone streets. They're called alfombras, and they're used so these religious processions that are walking through the street every single day can walk over sacred ground on their way to the churches. They're the most vibrant colored pieces I've ever seen. It's like using the street as a canvas, and then they would work through the night. Some would be made out of colored sand, some out of sawdust, out of flowers. One was made out of coins. My favorite place in Guatemala was Samuc-Champey, which was located near the middle of the country. It's basically paradise on earth. It's the most gorgeous place. I couldn't believe my eyes when I was standing there because the colors are so vibrant and the water is so pristine. I think the most rewarding thing was when I realized that I wasn't going to change the world, but that I had the ability to change myself. I think I needed to take myself out of my comfort zone, allow myself to be fearful and to struggle a bit. And by doing that, I was able to realize that I'm capable of more than I thought I was capable of. I went to Guatemala thinking that I was invincible and that I was going to make this massive difference in everybody's life there. And I ended up returning to the States months later. It completely changed my time in Guatemala. It was the point where I became a woman. I left a child and I returned a woman.